Hey guys, it's Amy at Zoe back, and I'm going to do my weekly reading update for, what is it? October, it would be 8th, right? 8th, 2023. So, this was a good reading week overall. Again, I am participating in 2 readathons, so I'm doing stuff for Victober very slowly, but a little bit. And then I'm also doing Spookolpoly that's put on by Becca and the Books. I will have both readathons stuff down below of who is putting that on. Victober this year, again, I'm taking kind of a smaller approach to it because I just haven't been, my classics reading is actually this year has been kind of faulty where I've started a lot of things and not finished much. And so this year I was picking books that I'd like to finish that I started a couple of years ago. So I just said I'll talk about those when I get there. So I'm kind of taking that kind of low key. And then again, I'm doing Spookopoly. So I am have my TBR video as well as one I just did yesterday about, or on Saturday, about the next roles that I picked. So we will talk about how that's all going. So anyway, other than that, I have no other updates or anything. It's just it was a quiet week at work. I read a lot at work. I didn't mean to, but I did because I listened to some audiobooks and some other stuff, and it's just how it is. It kind of fluctuates, as I said, so it was just a quiet week. And then this next week is going to be kind of weird because my one of my cousins is getting married on Friday the 13th. And so I had to take the day off because the wedding is at 4:30. It's really close. It's not too far away. Like it's about 30 minutes away from me at the most, but I get off at 4 normally. So, I just took the day off. I could have taken a half day, but I just took the whole day off, and I put another doctor's appointment that day just to get that out of the way. So it's all together, and I'll do some stuff around the house before that. So Friday I'll have off. So I won't probably get much reading because I'll be going to a wedding. So that kind of sucks for a vacation day, but that's fine. We will do what we have to do. And the rest of the week I have another doctor's appointment on Wednesday for my mammogram, so just do those kind of things. So anyway, so this week will be kind of interesting. I'm not expecting to read quite as much this next week. But again, I have so much stuff on my TBR I want to, but we will see what happens. So let's talk about the books that I finished, the ones I'm in the middle of, and what I think I'm going to read in the week to come. So I did listen to Brother Song. I had started this by TJ Klune on, sorry, I almost dropped that Sunday. And I didn't think I'd get really far into it, but I did. I listened to it a lot on Sunday playing Animal Crossing and just lounging around. And I did a couple chores with it too, but mostly it was me playing Animal Crossing for hours. It was really fun. It was great. Anyway, point is that this is book 4 in the Green Creek series that I binged the last 3 books. Again, they're the third and the fourth one are being traditionally published next year. I think the Heart Song is coming out in January, at the end of January, and I think that Brother Song comes out in hardback in August, I believe is what the date is. So anyway, but the audiobooks came out this year, so I was able to get them from Audible, and I used credits for that, so I was able to listen to this. This is the narrator is Kurt Graves. He did a fantastic job for the whole series. I can still hear their voices that he did for them, and just know who was talking. It was it was just great. It was a great audio. These are urban fantasy following the first book. Wolf Song is following Ox as he grows up in this small Oregon town where a family comes and moves back in next door that used to live there before, but not while he was there, and so he meets them, and it pretty much changes his life. And again, we have to deal with werewolves and other things. I really enjoyed this series overall. It was there was a lot of all the elements of urban fantasy that I like, that has the pack and all the stuff to do with the werewolf stuff, and then also the community, the found family kind of aspect, even though there's a lot of family in this one. And this one does deal with a lot of stuff. All the series has to do with a lot of emotional things, and they're all very other gay love stories in here too. They're just cute. Anyway, I would love them. So this book would made me laugh, and it made me smile, and it made me cry. So this one is no exception on book 4. I really enjoyed the way that this wrapped up and how this went. This book was a surprise to me on who was the main character, because every book it changes who is the character that we follow. But I really liked the way that it came around and brought things in from the beginning and from the other books, and how it all wrapped up in the end. I think this was a great 4-book series. I really enjoyed it. I'm already looking forward to a reread probably next year. I don't know. We'll see how it goes, but I just adored this series. I love these characters, and I was so sad when I came out of it. I think when I finished it on Monday, when I got home from work, I finished it, and I didn't read much that night because I was just wanting to be back in that world. I almost restarted Wolfsong. It was really close, but I didn't let myself. Because I have so many things I want to read right now. And I did just read all these books, and they're all, between 460 and, 520 pages. So I was like, I didn't really need to start the series again, but I did contemplate it. So, and again, that doesn't happen as often with me. I'm a big rereader, but I don't always want to restart a series right after I've read it. It only happens a few times that I've done that, or I mostly don't allow myself to do it anymore, but there's been a few. This was close. I was really close. If I was going to go into a slump, I would have restarted, but I was able to pick up a book the next day and, move on. But I'm still thinking about this. I just adored this series. Definitely I've had a lot of good series this year that I've worked on and read, but this is by far my favorite this year that I have tackled. So I'm so glad I read the Green Creek series, and that I let myself do the audiobooks like as a binge. They were really, really good. So I got that done. I then I had them out of order on my stack here, sorry. So then on Tuesday, when I could read again, I picked up The Tale of Halcyon Crane, is that how you say that? By Wendy Webb. So I switched out one of my Spookopoly-a-thon books. I was supposed to read The Restorer by Anna Stevens, but I decided not to read that. I didn't feel like it. Even though it was kind of ghostly, it was kind of the same thing. They were supposed to be for TBR vets. But I picked up this one because this one is her first novel, and I want to go back and read the novels that I haven't read. Wendy Webb is one of those ones who has is very good paranormal, slight suspense kind of thing. I don't know. Well, there's a suspense element. There's usually a mystery element to it. There's a ghostly element to it, and I like the family stories and things that happen in here. They're all very. They're just kind of interesting. They're kind of different. Anyway, but I really like her atmosphere stuff. So these usually take place around the Great Lakes. This one takes place mostly on an island. I can't remember in which. I think it was off of Michigan. So it might be Lake Michigan. I'm not sure. It's supposed to be one of the lakes, one of the Great Lakes, and it's an island there. And so Hallie has been living her life in Seattle, and her father passes away within a few days of her getting a letter saying that her mother had just passed away, though she thought her mother had died 20 years before. And so 20 or 30 years. I can't remember it was quite a long time before. I can't remember ages right now in my head. I think it was 20. Anyway, point is that she was kind of surprised to find out their mother had been living, and again, she wasn't able to ask her father before he passed away due to he had Alzheimer's. So it's this mystery of her going back home and finding out why her father took her, stole her away, because everybody thought they had died in a boating accident, and that they had been lost to the lake. And so I really like this for, again, the atmosphere of the small island life that we got to see of when she goes back to this island. And then the creepy factor. This has a great, kind of ghostly things or haunting kind of thing. I liked, it was its own thing, like a little different one, more with kids and stuff. It was it was really sad, in the past time, or not, it's not a past timeline, the past stuff that she learns. I guess there's a storytelling element to here where someone's telling a story of the past thing. So that's kind of what I meant by a timeline thing. It's kind of different though, but she's telling what happened in the past. It was really a cool little twist. I think the ending kind of fell flat. It again is her debut novel, so I will not like say that ruined it for me, because it didn't. All the rest of it, I really enjoyed all the stuff that like all the atmosphere and the mystery and the ghostly stuff, because again, that's what she does good for me. I like her kind of weird stuff and around water and and small town kind of thing. So I really enjoyed this for what it was. It's not perfect. It is not like, there's times where I rolled my eyes. She does have a tendency to do that thing where she says, well, if I'd known, or, you know, I hate that thing where they kind of give us a hint that something's coming, that if she would have done something differently if she knew. But I hate that. Like, I hate that second guessing. I don't want to know that. Like, just tell me the story and we'll see. We'll go along with it. Like, you don't have to give me a heads up that something's wrong. Like, that was the wrong decision. I don't care about that. I never have liked that in any novel. That is like, I think, my number one pet peeve in stories. Anyway. But that was like, again, that was a small thing. So this was a fun ride. I read this so fast. I actually read this all in one day. I don't think everybody can do that. I just meant, I just couldn't, I kept devouring it, you know, and again, I stayed up a little late to finish it, but it was really good and I really enjoyed it. So I got another one of those marked off. I still have 3 or 4 of her books, because I've read through 4 now. So I'd really like to, as I said, get to maybe another one this month, or, you know, I don't know. I haven't read, that was the first one I'd read this year, although I meant to read, get through the backlist. But anyway, I really enjoyed that. The next thing I finished was another audiobook I had from my library, Days at the Murasaki Bookshop, by, what is it? Satoshi Yagisawa, and this is translated from the Japanese by Eric Ozawa. So I started this last week some point. I read like the first 50 pages, so a third of it, and I was like, it's okay. It's following a young woman who was dating a coworker, and then she finds out that he's getting married to a different coworker, and he had been dating her the whole time that he had been with her. And so she is devastated because she had no idea he was dating both of them. And so she could only last a few weeks at her job before she decides to quit. She just can't handle it. And her uncle, who is really eccentric to her and owns and runs this bookshop that's been in the family for years, she goes to stay at his place for room and board and to help with the shop for a little while. And then it's her coming out of everything that's happened emotionally, and then her getting to know people in the area, as well as her uncle and some other people. So this was really interesting. It's very short. It's only 150 pages. The audiobook was like 5.5 hours or something. It wasn't very long. So I did finish it up on, I think, Wednesday, something like that. And I liked this, but I didn't love it. I don't know why there's a cat here, because there's not one cat in the story that I remember. Maybe I missed it, but I swear there wasn't. Anyway, but I think this was interesting, a very interesting look at coming to terms with when someone has lied to you, and then how much responsibility of you not knowing, and how you can get past that, and also maybe not looking at somebody, like having impressions of somebody from your teenage years, and not like, thinking just because you thought they were weird when you were a teenager doesn't mean that they're really actually weird. They were an adult who did things differently than what your parents did, or that you were exposed to. I thought this was really good for family in that way too. I didn't like the main character in the beginning. I actually really detested her, not because of what happened with her relationship. I felt really bad for her, and all that kind of made sense, how she did those or had issues with those kind of things. It was more her relationship with her uncle at the beginning, because again, she had this like thought in the beginning, what she thought he was like from her teenage years, because she had avoided him for years. And again, I don't understand that, because I come from a very close family that, we don't avoid anybody. We're all very, not like close, because we don't live close to each other, but when we see each other, it's, I don't know. It struck me as odd And again, that's not my family. So that was my only thing, is I thought that was weird. But anyway, I liked it overall. Like, it was a fine story. I know it's one of the ones this year that has come out translated. I think it actually came out in like 2010 in Japan. So anyway, so the translation is new. So I think the translation was not the problem. I think it really was just the girl's opinion on certain things I didn't enjoy, or the young woman. She's like 25, and there a little time passes in this, but not super amount. But I liked a lot of the ways the story went in the end. It just, it didn't pull my heartstrings, I guess. There's a couple, there's a lot of Japanese literature will. Like, there's certain ones that I really like that do, but this one was not one of them. Then I finished Assistant to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Meyer. I think that's, I don't know how you say her last name. This was so much fun. I love this book. So this was not perfect. Like, again, I can't like say this is like a 5-star read. But it was so close. It was really close. Like, again, wasn't quite as emotional. Like, I didn't have an attachment to it that way, but this was such a fun ride. This was hilarious from like the beginning. Because we're following Evie, and she is a klutz and things. She goes into the woods, and she's very depressed because she needs a job. So she had something happen at her last job that has really affected her, and she needs another job. And so she just starts walking in the woods close to her little village, because it's fantasy. So and then she runs into this guy, and she's like, what's going on? And then the guards are coming after him. So now she's like tangled with him, and then they try to escape. And anyway, it turns out it's the villain who everybody knows is this really bad guy, because he's the villain. It's just funny. But she finds out, and then somehow she gets a job for him, because she's mumbling about that she needs a job. So he takes her on as his assistant. And then it's her being in the villain's employ in this castle in the woods, that and then all the people that she works with, and then dealing with stuff while she's supporting her ill father and her 10-year-old sister. Oh my gosh, it was just so much fun. But the end was so surprising, and it wasn't until I was about halfway through this book that I realized that this was a series, which I didn't know when I bought it, nor after I started it, but oh well, that's fine. I started another series that the books aren't out for. But anyway, point is that the ending was it just twisted and turned. I thought it was really great, the ending. Again, it really built up the things, and you got to know a lot of the characters. Again, this is a very, the work environment was hilarious because they're villains. Anyway, it was just, and the backstories and stuff, and she and the villain, Tristan, again, their interactions are growing of attraction and stuff. And then things happen in the end, and I need book 2. Like, I need to know what happens, because my character is in peril, and I need to know what's going on, because some really big things happen at the end, and then it ends, and I'm like, no. Anyway, so if you don't like cliffhangers, it ends really well, and the point is, and we know kind of what the next book is going to at least entail, at least part of it, but it's like, I want to know what happens. I want to read on. So I think that's really, really good for it. I just wasn't expecting it, because I didn't know. Again, a lot of great characters. I love the frog, Kingsley. That was so awesome. It was the funniest, one of the funny parts. Anyway, I laughed through this quite a bit. I really enjoyed it. As I said, it was a really fun read. I would recommend it if you like humor, fantasy. I just like this twist that she's working for the villain, and the things that happen with that, and why he is that way. And because you get to know her family, and in some of his family, and it's kind of interesting. And then again, all the people they work with. It's just, there's a lot of good stuff in here. I really enjoyed it overall, and I'm really excited for the next book, which looks like it's not going to be until next September. So I have time to wait, darn it. And I'll probably reread it, or at least read the second half when I get it, because that ending was just, there were so many things going on, and I know I probably missed details because I was just reading so fast, because I wanted to see what happened, because I didn't know how. I was so surprised at what was happening right near the end. I'm like, how are they going to end this? And then she ended it where it is, and I'm like, no. Anyway, so but that was a really good book. I really enjoyed that. And then the last book I finished was The Dead Romantics. Oh, this was for purple cover for Spookolpoly. So that's purple there. And then The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. I have been meaning to read this since I picked it up earlier this year. So this one I picked up for the bird, or raven, crows or ravens, and it's crow. It's a crow on the cover. It's crows are in this book, so I'm like, yay, it's a crow. So that was the prompt was, yeah, crows and ravens. So this is very a contemporary book, but it has this element of ghosts and stuff. So we're following Florence, who is a ghostwriter for a very famous romance author, and she has the last book she's supposed to turn in, she's having trouble with because a year before this book starts, she and her boyfriend broke up over a situation. And she has been devastated since then because of what happened. And she believes love is dead. And she's like, a romance is dead. And so she doesn't know how to write this book. She can't write it. And so she goes to the editor, who's the new editor, for this one, because the last one had just retired. So she's meeting him for the first time. She's trying to get an extension, but he doesn't give her the extension. He goes, they need the book by the next day. Well, she has like half a book. So she knows that's not going to happen. And then, things happen, and then there is a death in her family, and that kind of throws her whole, perspective off, and she goes home to, North Carolina, I believe. And then we get small town thing. But when she gets there to deal with that, that death and that funeral, she sees the ghost of her editor, who she just left in New York City, and somehow he is there as well. So she can see ghosts, and it was really an interesting ghost one for me, because it gave it's something like she and her one of her relatives shared, but nobody else does. And she has stuff in the past why she never wanted to come home. And there's all this stuff about grief and past events, how they affect you and how it hurts on and how to get past some of them. Not all of them, but like I think she made a lot of good strides in this. I loved her as a character. Florence was relatable in a lot of things. Not the ghost thing. I've seen ghosts. Poor thing. But, like things we had to deal with. So I really enjoyed the way this went. I did guess one of the twists, one of the major ones early on, but there's a few small ones. I liked the way it went. I didn't expect that or how that went. But I did like the way that this went and how it wrapped up. I did think it was a really good book. I really enjoyed it because, again, it had the ghostly element, it had kind of the romance story, it had elements of family and small town life, and things that you're just trying to get over in your life. So it's a very contemporary novel in a lot of ways, except it has this ghostly element to it, which was fun. Anyway, overall, I really, really enjoyed this. I read it, again, Friday and Saturday, so I really enjoyed that. And I might have bought the next book by her, the one that just came out, the 7-Year Slip. So that's probably going to show up in the next couple of days. I just figured I liked her writing enough, and I wanted to see how that one went, because I'm not a big time travel reader. Not too much. It's hard for me sometimes to read those ones, but we'll see. Anyway, we'll see. I might read that sooner than I think. Let's put it that way. So let's talk about the books that I'm in the middle of. I am making progress in Mary Barton by Elizabeth Gaskell for Victober. This is a book that I started a couple years ago. I read partway through it, and then I stopped. Last year I tried it again, stopped, just a little bit past that. I am not much farther than I was on Sunday. I'm like 10 pages more. I did not listen to a lot of this week, but I also, after listening to Brother's Song and starting the other audiobook I started this week, I didn't read a whole lot by audio. I actually think I burned myself out again because I listened to the Green Creek series on audio. So I think my brain just went, okay, I need a break. So I'm hoping this week to pick this up again. I have just about 7 hours on the audiobook that's done by Juliet Stevenson, which is really good. And I think that really helps me get through it. I think I just need to make some time every day to sit there and listen to it, but I'm reading along with it, I think, this time, to try to get it to more penetrate and to enjoy it more. So we'll see what happens. Again, I said I'm not very far into it. I'm like 90 pages in. So, and I think it's like it's like 380. Oh, maybe it's like 390. Yeah, about 390. So yeah, I got like 300 pages. I just hope to get this done sometime this month. If I don't get to Oliver Twist, that's fine. I want to make sure at least I get Mary Barton done. That is my top of the 2 Victober books I want to get to. Oliver Twist, if it doesn't get done this month, I will do it in another month. I definitely want to get that Dickens done so I can continue on with Dickens and not be stuck in that one. But Mary Barton's the same way. I want to read more of her books because I want to get to Wives and Daughters, and I really wanted to read the other books that she wrote before I read her last book. But we'll see. I might break and just read that one next time. We'll see. The other audiobook I'm listening to is Fairy Tale by Stephen King. Oh, I don't remember who the narrator is in that one. But this one I got from the library, the audiobook. So I do need to get it done because it will expire in a couple weeks. So I am about there. So it's about 140 pages. So I'm enjoying this so far, like what I've heard a lot of people say, because this is a portal fantasy. I haven't got to that part yet. This is following Charlie, and he is a young man who is he helped save an old man who down the street who fell off a ladder, and it's him getting entangled with this older man, and in the way as in helping him around and making different choices in his life because of because of Charlie's backstory and things. And the old man has a dog named Radar who Charlie really likes, and so it's him getting connected with this older man, but we're not sure what's gonna happen. I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm 140 pages in, so I'm about 20. I think it said it was like 22%. So I'm not super far. I read a couple of days in the middle of the week, and then I just couldn't pick it up the last couple days because I haven't been feeling like an audiobook because I listened to so much of it. So hopefully this week I can get a little bit more done, because again, it is a library book on Libby, the audiobook, so I do need to get that done. But I also want to prioritize Mary Barton as my audiobook. So we will see. I'm hoping to make progress in both of these this week. Even if it's not a whole lot, but I'd like to try. We're gonna see what we do. So this, and again, this one I'm reading because I landed on the Stephen King prompt, and I did pick a Stephen King novel instead of a royalty book, which was the other part of that prompt. But I picked Stephen King because I had so much on my shelf that I haven't read. So, and I'm glad I'm enjoying it so far because it's very low key so far. Not too much spooky horror stuff yet. So I'm sure that's coming, but not yet. And then the physical book that I picked up yesterday was My Roommate is a Vampire by Jenna Levine. So this book is the one I picked for pumpkin spice, or a spicy book. I don't know if it really is a spicy book. We'll see when I get there. But it was more just because I want to read this book. I have been staring at this since I got it the end of August, and I didn't let myself read it in September because it wasn't a series book. I hope at least last I looked, it wasn't a series. So we'll see. I don't think it is, but this is a debut novel. So there is a couple of things that I'm like, oh, okay, that's kind of debut-ish. But mostly this is really fun. So we're following Cassie, Cassie, and she is in dire need of an apartment in Chicago. She's getting kicked out because of non-payment at her apartment, and so she finds an ad on Craigslist for this really great apartment for really low money, and so she goes to and meets him, and he is just drop dead gorgeous. But it's kind of a weird, everything's kind of old, and the place looks like not really lived in, and she's kind of, really nice, but everything's kind of old. And so but she's so desperate, and she's like, she can just, she's not going to see him. He says he only works at night and he sleeps all day, so don't disturb him. And so again, they start living together, and then one night something happens and she discovers what he really is, which is a vampire. And so again, I'm right at the point, like I'm, in it where he's starting to explain things, and it's just kind of, I mean, I think it's cute so far on we getting both of their perspectives. Hers is first person chapters, and then we get, him we get mostly in letters. There's a lot of letters and text messages, and not a lot. There's some letters and text messages in here, so there's a multimedia kind of aspect to this, because again, he's kind of old school because he's kind of old, so a lot of letter writing and notes and stuff. It's cute. So I'm enjoying this so far. I'm hoping to get pretty far into it today, if not finish it. We'll see. But I'm about a third of the way through this, so I am, as I said, reading this for the pumpkin spice prompt. So we'll see how that goes. So those are the things that I am currently reading. So I am gonna start on Monday my buddy read with Berna's Bookish Adventures. We're reading book 2 in the Love at Stake series by Carolyn Sparks, Vamps and the City. So this one has kind of a TV show connection. I think some kind of like a reality TV show with on the vampires TV show network. Anyway, it should be fun. Anyway, so I think the male contestant or whatever, however he gets involved, I think he is actually a slayer. So I'm kind of curious to see how this goes. And anyway, they're just, most of these are kind of hilarious urban fantasy, paranormal romance novels. Again, this is book 2 in like a 16 book series or something close to that. Anyway, so we are going to do this as buddy read during the week. So I will be reading that. So I'm looking forward to that because I did really like the first book. And then I do have these books that are also on my Spookopoly from the rolls I did for Saturday. I did those. And then, so I do want to put out, like I switched out one of the books already. I might switch out any one of these for a different book for that prompt. I'm pretty sure I'm going to try to read The Peculiaries. Yesterday I didn't feel like that, so maybe that'll be a next book. Semiosis, I still want to read this, but I also saw like 3 other sci-fi books after I picked this that I'm like, oh, I should have picked that one instead. So this might get switched out. We'll see. Because I just recently bought this, I'm not sure I want to read it yet. I have other ones on my shelf, so we'll see what happens. I'm pretty sure I'm going to try to read these fantasy romances, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm not sure. But those are all ones I have for that. I might, as I said, my rolls kind of went awry. So I might still roll again for Saturday and just and post that as in the next 3 rolls that I want to do, because I need variety and I need to be able to switch things around, and I'm not sure, that these will call to me by the end of the week. So I want to make sure I give myself more options, and I can still come back to them and do them. So I might skip around a little bit. I still want to try to hit everything that I get on my rolls, but I'm not, again, I'm not one of those people who do punishments or anything. Like, I don't do games normally for my reading. I never punish myself for stuff because I'm a mood reader and I can't help it. So I think I might still keep it weekly and do a week 3 video on rolls, and maybe the board will be nicer to me this time. We will see. But I think I'm going to do that even if I'm not through all these books. I think I've made that decision. Let me know if you think that's okay, or if you think I should just wait till I finish all these. I kind of think I need the extra book options. So I think I'm just going to do that. Anyway, that's what's going to happen. Anyway, so that's it. That's all I have. Sorry it's long for a video. I did try to go faster, but I read a lot of books and I like to talk. So anyway, so what are you guys reading this week? Are you doing any of the readathons? How are yours going? As I said, I'm really, my Victober is really low this year, but I want to make sure I get this one book done at least. And if I can get to the second one, that would be great. And then, as I said, Spookopoly-thon has been fun so far. I've read some really great books. I'm actually, as I said, well, other than finishing the Green Creek series, which was left over from last year, these all 3 were really good for different reasons. And I'm really glad I read these. I'm really, these are great books. And this is very niche. If you like that, you would like it. But I like these 2 a lot. So if you guys have gotten them or have seen them and want to try them, I recommend them. I actually really like them both. So anyway, I think that's it. I gotta go. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye.